Hi there, I'm Rachel Gable at the Fence Post Magazine, and this is your news update for Tuesday, September 21st. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association and the Public Lands Council said that they are confident that the newly announced review by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will confirm what conservation groups, scientists, and ranchers have observed in the West for years, that gray wolves are not endangered. She said, Caitlin Glover, who's the NCBA Executive Director of Natural Resources and the PLC Executive Director, Glover said, "We're disappointed to see the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service move forward with a 12-month status review for the gray wolves in the western U.S. It is unacceptable," she said, "for the service to continue to be held hostage by groups who want nothing more than to turn the Endangered Species Act into a permanent management tool. We are confident that the review will confirm what we've known to be true for years. Gray wolves are recovered and no longer meet the requirements for listing under the Endangered Species Act." She said it is appropriate that the service continue to monitor state management of the recovered populations, but they need to dedicate their resources to the populations of species that are truly imperiled. In Wyoming, Governor Mark Gordon has announced a change in his administration's natural resource policy team. The new ag policy advisor is Kate Barlow, who is a Wyoming native who served as lead ag policy advisor for U.S. Senators Mike Enzi and Cynthia Loomis. Barlow replaces Joe Budd, who departed to attend law school. She grew up on a ranch near Gillette, Wyoming, and earned her Juris Doctorate with honors from the University of Wyoming. She served as Senator Loomis's lead policy advisor on agriculture, food safety, trade, judiciary, labor, social issues, and Indian affairs. Previously, she advised Senator Enzi on agriculture, trade, and judiciary issues. She was the Senator's Finance Committee advisor for the passage of the USMCA, reviewed and vetted all judicial nominations, and provided advice on legislative strategy. So that sounds like a fine selection by Mark Gordon up there in the governor's office in Wyoming. The Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association have a call to action for you. With the passage of Senate Bill 21087, which is known as the Farm Workers Bill of Rights, the biggest problem facing producers is that overtime limitation, and because California is facing a similar limitation, and we haven't quite seen what the effects will be, just because there hasn't been that much time, and because California produce farms are a little bit more able to use some mechanization, whereas we are not. And of course, they also have 2 to 4 seasons for a crop, where we have one season and it's pretty short. So according to Talbot, Bruce Talbot, who is the president of the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers, the non-management employees on his operation are accustomed to making about $4,500 per month during the peak season, where of course they expect to work a lot of long hours because it's harvest, and their paychecks would be cut to $2,550. So that's a 57% cut of what they would receive if he had to restrict them to the 40 hours per week. Both his seasonal and year-round employees have told Talbot that just simply will not work. Unlike others, Glenn Hirokata said farmers are price takers and they're unable to pass those fees along to their buyers. So it will impact growers of all sizes and types of production. Of course, there was Bruce Talbot said that there was a narrative being spun by some farm worker advocates concerning abuses by farmers that often use anecdotal evidence from many years ago and often from other parts of the country. We saw that in the testimony before the Senate committee on this. There are always bad apples among employers. However, most of the abuses presented have been illegal for many years. They would like Coloradans to speak in support of Colorado produce farms and ag employees' jobs by weighing in on this ill-conceived bill. The public can write comments to CDLE online at Agriculture, Labor, Rights, and Responsibilities Public Comments, if you just Google that. And finally, I know I have a whiny 3-year-old behind me, but I've started this video approximately 57 times, so I'm just gonna finish. The governor and first gentleman, of course, were married. Hush.
I touched my balloon.
I'm sorry. Were married in a ceremony last week, and think what you will about that and the fact that the menu is vegan. There was a pretty famous chef that came in from New York, and she used Palisade peaches. All the flowers were Colorado grown. The wines were from Colorado wineries. The food from the rehearsal dinner was from local farms. And they tried to use as many local Colorado foods as possible. So I thought that was pretty cool news. So there you go. I'm Rachel Gable, and this is your update for the 21st of September. Have a good one.